Hello and welcome to this tutorial. No big intro today. I thought I'll just skip the intros and jump right into the tutorials. That makes it easier for everyone, for me and for you. And this time we're gonna rig a chair. Looks very simple, and it actually is, but I think there are still some small challenges and maybe some small pitfalls that you might not expect from such a simple object as this one. But this is a fun exercise to get familiar with how rigging works and where maybe some small challenges be here and there. So I hope you like it. And by the way, if you want to know how to model this chair, this is straight up from RILEYY B3D, a good friend of mine. He currently released a tutorial on how to model this kind of chair. It's a simple prop, but he goes in super detail on how to model it and why to use certain techniques, which I find very fascinating. And even I, after 6 years of using Blender, still could learn some new things on why certain things happen. And I never thought even about it, why they happen. So please check this tutorial out. If you don't wanna, then you can also get this file for free. Link in the description. This leads to my Patreon, but this file will be free for everyone. And please also check out RILEY's website. It is full of amazing stuff, like a huge free asset library, which is insane in my opinion. And also he has a lot of extensions and some trainings and all that good stuff. So if you followed RILEY's tutorial, then this is probably something that you'll end up with, similar to this one. And first we need to figure out like what is actually happening. So I have this animation ready, and you see that this is our goal to have. So it has to fold like this. I'm going to show it from the side. This part, the seating part, is folding upwards, and the other parts follow kind of with those few hinges. And the first thing that I always do is first to follow the chain of events. So which part is moving? How is it influencing all the other parts? So we can build a chain of bones that will then automatically move all the other parts. In this case, we have a big part that is going up, and the other one is this part is folding up. And this seating part is again moving this whole piece here, which is also relying on this connection here, where we have also this little pivot point on the side. And since this part is also connected to this rod, we have almost like this kind of loop in this hierarchy that we want to maintain. So first we're going to start with the legs in the back here. So first we'll make sure that the 3D cursor is in the middle, so the rig will be only in the middle and it will control all the other parts on the sides. So Shift A, armature, single bone. Gonna move it slightly to the back to put it right here. Then we go into edit mode and we're gonna just align it with the legs in the back. We also in the armature properties can check this box here, so we always have it in the front. And I go into X-ray and we're just going to align it with this pivot point here. So this bone will move the whole chair back and forth. Then we need another bone, which will move the seating part. So with E, we're just going to extrude it and go until this next hinge, which is here. We don't have to be super accurate, just roughly gonna see how this looks. So the end result will be that we're gonna move it up and down like this. And with rotating this bone here, we want that these two parts also rotate properly on their own hinges here, so that everything folds nicely. But there's still something we need to consider, but we'll get to that. So for this part here, we also need a bone. And since this bone will be like the dominating bone that will control all the other movements here, and the best way to tackle this is to create a separate chain that is just responsible for these two parts here. So I will just duplicate that bone, move it right here, move it here, and extrude another chain right here. So we have those two chains, those two bones and those two bones. We can already parent this one to this here, because this part is connected to this leg here in the back. So we select this bone here, then shift select this one, Control P, keep offset, and then it's connected, as you can see here with this dotted line. It's a little bit hard to see, but it's there. So, and for this mechanism to fully automatically move while this bone is rotating up and down, we will use something that I use in, I believe, in all of my tutorials, which is IK's inverse kinematics. This is my favorite constraint because it gives us so much power over everything that is happening, and we will add it here too. So as you can see, the armature is right in the middle. And we will have an IK chain made out of those two bones here. If you want to learn what IKs or inverse kinematics are, please watch all my other tutorials. I explain it in almost every one of them, so I will just skip this part here if that's okay for you. Also, please subscribe to this channel. I would really appreciate it. It's free, so you have no excuse. So we will hide this one with H just for now, and we will extrude one more bone here. This will be the IK target, but the target needs to be independent of all the other bones. So with Alt-P and clear parent, we're gonna disconnect it completely from all the other chains. And then we'll go into pose mode. So we'll go back into object mode and then press Control-Tab. This will put us into pose mode. And then we'll select the target. We can also name it IK target. And then Shift select the next bone in the chain, Shift I, add IK target selected bone. And now we have an IK chain. But as you can see, the yellow line shows us how far the influence of the target is. And when I move the target, you'll see that it influences the whole rig because we have a closed chain going from here all the way here, because this one is parented to this one. So that makes the chain even longer. So if you select this bone, that's what the dotted line shows us. But we can limit this. If we go into the bone constraints of this yellow bone, we see here the IK constraint, and chain length is what shows us how far the chain is going. 0 means it goes all the way to the first bone, but we can limit it to just these 2 bones here, and we can set it up to just 1 and 2. And now you see the line here. And now when we move this one, it only moves the first 2 bones here. So that's already great. So far, we can see what is happening when I move this bone. Nothing is happening so far because this target still needs to move with this bone here. So when we go back into edit mode, Alt-H to unhide the bone that we had, and we will parent it to this one. So select this one, select the other one with Shift, Control-P, keep offset. This is important because when it's connected, then the IK won't be independent enough to function fully. So now we go back into pose mode and we rotate this now. You see we have this mechanism, and this is what we want to have. So that's already great. We can also rotate this one, and you see this is already working. So this is pretty much the whole rig. So now we can parent all the other objects to this rig. I will first change the display as stick so we can see the geometry a little bit better. And for parenting, what always helps is if you go into edit and you uncheck this box here. That way you can, without going back and forth into object mode, you can just select geometry and then the bones, and you are still in pose mode here without switching back and forth. So this is a nice thing that I always like to do. That makes a few clicks less for parenting. So we're gonna parent this back here to this bone here. We select it, Control-P, bone. Then we'll take this object here. I already parented this cushion here to this main part. So we just need to select this one, Shift select the armature, and you can see the last bone here that we used is still selected. So you have to click the new one just one more time, and then we can parent it also with Control-P, bone. This whole front leg needs to be parented to this bone here. So again, one more click, Control-P, bone, and this one will be parented to this bone, Control-P, bone. So now let's see what is happening, and you will be surprised what actually happens. Okay, yeah, so what's that about? This doesn't look right, right? Did we create this rig wrong? Did we do something that we are not supposed to do? Well, no, actually not. This is unfortunately something that we need to adjust because of the model itself. So this is not RILEY's fault. His job is to model a chair that looks good, but it's not his job to make it already work well for my part. So we have to adjust a few things. And the main problem is actually that for this kind of chair, the proportions and the relations between all the parts here have to be pretty perfect. So what I mean by that is that the length and the distances between all those parts, they are very accurately measured for the whole system to work as it should. So now the big question is, how do we figure out what to change? And the best way to do so is first to unparent all those parts here, because we need to also scale some bones. And if we scale bones that also have some parts attached to them, the parts will also scale up and down. And I want to do it in a separate way so they don't like distort in any way. So now when we rotate it up, everything is unparented again. And our goal is to use this yellow bone, which is connected to this front leg, to be in the end almost parallel to this back leg. So what we can do now is experiment a little bit, but it's a little bit tedious, so I will just show you what I did. First of all, I changed the height a little bit of this part here. so that it's set up a little bit higher. And also the seating area needs to be a little shorter. So the distance between these two parts needs to be a little shorter. And as I scale it down, you already see, so the yellow part is rotating almost parallel to this bone here. That's our goal. We can also change the scale of this bone here. And by the way, if you scale bones, what I will highly advise is selecting all the bones, going into the bone properties, and in the relations tab, inherit scale, I would set it to none, because when you scale a parent bone, the children will also be scaled, but we want to keep everything separate so no bone is influencing the other bones. So with Alt to affect all the bones, we click here and select none. So now we can still scale this one a little bit more, maybe like this, and then we can see how it looks like. Yeah, so this is already kind of looking not too bad. I think we can change the scale for this one again a little bit more and scale down this bone. So now when we rotate, this looks good in the original position, and when we fold it up, you see that the yellow line is almost pointing downwards. So to test it out, we can now parent the parts again, but we need to adjust their position and rotation a little bit so that they are on their new position here. So first we move it right here. So this is the hinge, and we can also, with Shift S, cursor to select it, we can rotate this part also on this 3D cursor when we set it here to 3D cursor, the transform pivot point. So now we can rotate it a little bit like this. So now we can see it's good enough. This one also needs to be adjusted. So the beginning and the end is also at the point that it needs to be. We do it just roughly. Okay, so now we parent again the geometry to the bones. So Shift select. So now let's see what is happening. We rotate it up and wow, this looks pretty good to me. So this is working. We also need to adjust this part a little bit because now it's a little bit too low, but we can just move it slightly up so it's sitting on the floor. And we have a successful folding chair. Awesome. So we can now animate it. For example, we just need those two here to be animated. I press K to only add rotation. So we go a few frames further, rotate it up, rotate this one up. Let's say like this. And now we have a chair animation. So as I said, this can be sometimes a little bit tricky to figure out what to do exactly for it to work. I was baffled the first time I saw it because I didn't know what didn't work. Maybe I have done something wrong, but in the end, it was just a little bit of tweaking of the distances and the lengths, and then everything works perfectly. So that's pretty much it. Thank you everybody for watching. If you liked this video, then please click the like button. If you subscribe to this channel, that would help me even more. I would really appreciate it. In the comments, you can tell me what you liked, what you didn't like, so I can learn for the next one. Again, also visit RILEY's channel. He's awesome. He deserves all the praise and all the followers in the world. Please also consider joining my Patreon. I would really appreciate it. This supports me in the best way. You get also an extended version of all my tutorials, including this one, where I will enhance this rig even further with just a few tweaks to make everything just work with one controller, and then everything will fold in and out automatically, which is pretty cool. So if you're curious to enhance this rig just a tiny bit more, then please consider joining. If that tutorial was maybe a little bit too much for you, then please consider also getting my mechanical rigging course. The link is also in the description, and you will get an 8-part intro tutorial series where I show you some basic functionalities of mechanical rigging, including things like robotic arms, legs, gears, cables, and pistons. Other than that, thank you very much for watching and hope to see you in the next one. Take care and bye-bye.